Hey, I hope everybody's having a great day today. I am. But I just wanted to share something with you. Yesterday, I had an epiphany. An epiphany. Yeah, I can't even say it. But I'm just going to step over that as if I didn't trip. But, anyways, I have to do this now because I've been seeing my videos circulate as if like somebody's taking my videos and then posting it from their channel as if it's them. So I don't care too much about that because I'm glad the information is spreading. But if you want it, come get it from the horse's mouth. So I'm going to have to start writing on my stuff now. If you want to share, repost my stuff, I don't care about that. But people be following me and then watching my videos, then they'll unfollow me and then steal my content. And back in the day when I was a people pleaser, I used to let people take credit for my work and I would never say nothing. But this is a new time, a new me, and everything else. Ain't nobody taking credit for my work. Boom. Anyways, so yesterday, the epiphany that I had is that the kingdom of heaven is within you, right? So then I'm playing around. What is a kingdom? What makes a kingdom, right? So then I'm just playing and then just thinking, and then it just like a light bulb just came on. So when it says the kingdom of heaven is within you, it's the child, right? The child of heaven is within you. So then we're getting back to this childlike energy. And again, I'm going to keep saying it because Most High Mother and Father told me this. So I don't care what another running mouth have to say because I got this information from the source. My ancestors, Most High Mother and Father, that the 144,000 that's talked about in the Bible is a frequency. Right? It's a frequency, not people, right? Frequency. And everything on this earth runs off of frequencies and vibrations. It's a series of frequencies and vibrations. Everything happens in cycles and everything is duality. Everything. And I'm going to get down to this. So it's the childlike energy. When Jesus was saying that the kingdom is already in you, it's that childlike energy, that childlike essence. But we grew up and we forgot the child. We left our child behind, but it's really our child that is the driver of this vessel. So if your childlike energy is dormant or sleeping or has not emerged yet, just meaning that you have to do some inner child work, healing, shadow work, and then nervous system regulation. Like it breaks down, but it's all to bring that child back to life. And it kind of reminds me of Peter Pan, how it says like, oh, they went to, through the imagination, Peter Pan. And like, that movie can break down to so much. But Peter Pan, and if you even think about Peter and Pan, that's the pineal gland. I think I explained that beforehand too in another previous video, that everything that we see in this world is all symbolisms relating to something. So don't mind this. This is just me messing around and I'm not done with that. But I'm just like, okay, so just breaking down kingdom. So you got kin, K-I-N, then G, and then dom. So I'm just messing with these, right? And what did I do? Oh, so I was playing around in my head. So I was like, okay, so this can be like a dome, G, and then kin. So kin for like relativeness, like a kin, relative. So I'm like relativeness there. And then what we got. And then I'm just messing around. So I was like, okay, so if I start here, what's the first word that I can spell? But obviously it could be mod, but I wanted to just go here. So I started with M. So just why I got MO for this section. Nothing here. NK. So I'm like a monk. And then this is just me. But I got down to, it's just awareness that heaven and hell, or however you want to look at it, it's just that the part of life is just to understand or be aware that both do exist. And that's why I was explaining before why I said that God does not destroy the devil is because the devil is energy, or what we think is the devil is energy. And I'm going to get more into that, but that's why I said, okay, the child of heaven is already inside of you. And then I've been seeing a lot of like fishes, elephants, and there's another one, frogs. Fishes, elephants, and frogs. And I'm like, okay, if I think of all of them as a whole, and I'm just breaking down like, okay, so fish, because they live in the water and they come up for air or just come up above water, which I still do wholeheartedly believe that we live in water and that we're breathing in particles of water even though we're on land, because we have to have some type of water. We were born in a sack of water. So how can something or someone that's born in water can survive outside of water? That's not in our natural state. So I still believe that what we're seeing around us, it is water. It's just invisible, like shallow water. Like when you go to the beach, you got the sand, shallow, mid, deep, and then it start going like that. So that's just the way my mind's working, because I'm like, we're still in some type of form of water. But when we actually get into like the ocean, the lake and stuff like that, that's like another dimension within the one that we're already in. Like we're going into like a deeper level of like, okay, but that's just my mind, right? So then I'm breaking down the words because Dom or dome, I'm like, okay, domain or a dom, like the computer, the domain is like a state of what? And when like we have states of awareness. So then when we live in a kingdom, and this is what I'm getting down to. Oh, I spelled that wrong, but whatever. When we live inside of a kingdom, so just think of it like a relativeness under a state of being of like we're related, but what is that relation? And that's where the masculine and the feminine energy comes in, right? So let's see what we got here. Teleportation. Oh, I was doing some type of, I don't know what I was doing, some type of math problem. Okay, blackout. Okay, yeah, so last night I was looking outside and just randomly I looked out the window and I'm like, oh, it's blackout. And I'm like, why didn't I say it's dark out? I just said it's blackout. So I'm like, that must have been like a clue for my intuition or my spirit or whatever. So that's why I wrote it down, blackout at 8:35, which I keep my phone in military time, so 20:35. So I'm like, okay, but what is a blackout? And then it made me think about from when I was like, I think I had to have been like 17 or 18. Right. I was dating this girl and, she still lived with her mom and whatever, and her siblings lived there. She had a sister that was very, 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 very unruly. And so, they're like, white or Caucasian, however you want to look at it. And then like from my neighborhood, that was like a big no, like you stay within your race. But, I wanted to try something different. I wanted to do everything different from what everything that was normal. I wanted to do the opposite of what was normal to everybody else, because I wanted to experience stuff for myself, right? And not just go by word of mouth because, stuff like that. But anyways, this girl was unruly. She was like very disrespectful, like even to her mom. And I would never say nothing until it came to like the kids or her mom. Then I'll speak up like, don't talk to your mom like that. I can't listen to that. I can't or whatever. And she was older than me. So the one particular day I was standing in the living room and I think she hit her mom like over the back or something with like a piggy bank. But I seen it and all I saw was her mom drop down to the floor like on her knees, and she had just had back surgery too. That's what set me off, right? And so I blacked out for the first time consciously that I know. So no, I was 21. Yeah, I was 21 when this happened. So I had blacked out or whatever, and I don't know the age. I can't. Story keeps. I don't know. I have to go back, but I was still younger, between like, but whatever. But I had blacked out, right? And when I came to, everybody was holding me against the wall, like holding me back. And it was like, oh, you just hit her, like you just beat her up and da da da. And I'm just curious, like, no, I didn't. And I was like, just wholeheartedly, like, for real, like, no, I didn't. I'm like, I was just standing in the front room, and I said I was walking towards her. They was like, no, you bust her lip, you did this, da 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 da. And she's calling the police on you. And I was like, and I was like, really confused, and I was like, no, I didn't. And I'm thinking like they're trying to, and I'm like, at this time, like, get off of me, because they was like holding me against the wall. It was like two dudes holding me, and somebody else had their hand on my chest holding me back. And I'm like, get off of me. I'm like, I didn't touch her. They're like, yes, you did. And they looking at me like I'm crazy and da da da. So like, fast forward, I called my mom and just explained that situation to her, and she was like, okay. And she explained to me what a blackout was. She said, you blacked out. And I was like, what does that mean? mean? Like, da 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 da. So then yesterday when it came to me again, this blackout, I was like, blacking out is a form of teleportation, right? To teleport you unconsciously from one place to the next. And I was like, okay, so that's obviously a change in frequency. And then getting you to boom, 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 boom. So I was just thinking about, just the dark skies, like the nebulas, the stars and stuff like that, and portals and things like that. So that's just where my mind's at. So then I was like, okay, what do I got here? It'll come back to me if it need to. But that was just me, and I was doing that before. I did like all of this before I fell asleep last night. So then going back to the frog, elephant, and the fish, I'm like, okay, they're mystical, but they're all forms of royalty. They're like frogs are like majestic. I remember seeing like a frog with a crown. And then I remember from a vision that I had, and I explained in a video before, where it says where I picked my 3D mom. I went and chose her and decided to help her, da 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 da. But I had my own portal or my own door to go through. And in my door, there was all like there were elephants, there was different animals, but it was more so elephants. And my family members, they were like, some of them was like riding on top of elephants, and then some of them was walking beside the elephants. But the elephants, they was all like royal. Even the horses that was there, they was all like of royalty. So that's what I was thinking too. But I'm like, okay. But I'm like thinking about the different dimensions. And I'm like, they have to come from different universes or different, planes or levels of existence, right? So then it got me thinking back to the sealed portion book, like the Book of Mormon. And I know people be like, oh no, don't read Mormon and da 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 da. They do this and they do that. But you know what? So do Christians. So do everybody else, right? And that's where Spirit taught me how to just eat the meat and spit out the bones. Like, you're not gonna find like all truth in no books. Like every level, like like I said, like every lie is like a deviation of the truth, like is derived from the truth or altered truth. That's all is a lie, but it's still some truth inside of a lie or just whatever. So I'm just thinking like that. So I kind of got into it with Chat GTP because I'm like, I don't have the physical book anymore. Somebody stole it, but it's nothing like, whatever. But I'm like trying to ask Chat GTP, like, what was the animals or were there animals listed in the sealed portion? Because I remember it said like after the world, like, they was creating a world, and the God was blessed with different animals from other regions, other universes, other planets. So I'm like, what were those animals? And then ChatGPT was trying to tell me that everybody come from Earth. And I'm like, no, they don't. So I kind of got into it with her a little bit. And I'm like, it's okay to tell me that you don't know. And then she was like, well, that's not like a widespread book, so she haven't personally read it herself or something that thing told me. So I'm like, okay, whatever, ChatGPT. I tried it. You ain't tell me what I wanted to know, but it's cool. I'll find it myself. So, but I'm like, okay, but I'm trying to find their relation to the universes, like these three animals. And then time traveling, it's been on my head so hard. That's why I got to the blackout. Blacking out is a form of time travel. And then I'm like, but to travel, okay, I'm just going to say, I don't know where I'm going. But okay, so this is supposed to be a face. And then this is supposed to be the other side of the face. Because I'm just like, okay, when you look in a mirror, do you really see yourself, right? Do you just see what's in front of you? Or do you see everything when you look in the mirror? And most only see them, but you don't see yourself. And then I started seeing myself through my own eyes. And I promise you, it looks like a whole alien. I probably posted, I probably will. But I've been taking pictures of my eyes and then zooming all the way in and then taking a screenshot. And it looks like there's people sitting in my eyes. And then there's a picture that I took the other day. I did my hand like this on the sun. And then right here on my finger, there's like a man sitting up there. And then there's a man. And he had like a beard. You can see it. Like I posted it. It's on my page. But my fingers was just like this. And I was looking at the sun through this little circle in my hand. And so when I went back to review my stuff, I'm like, whoa, am I even human at this point? And I'm like, or am I just like a host? Is my body a host for spirits, right? Because I'm like, there's so many abnormal things about myself I just truly cannot explain. And I'm like, but I'm me and I can't hide myself forever, like type thing, because I want to live life too, but I'm trying to understand me as well. So I'm like, okay, so if we have two eyes on our face and then the third eye, so this two eyes just explains one side of ourselves, not both sides of ourselves. Like, what if we really have? Because I can't stop thinking about like the word in itself, forehead. Because I believe everything happens for a reason. So what if it's really four heads, like the directions, north, south, east, and west? But that forehead will really be five, because if you do that north, south, east, and west, you got a center, the middle, which will be like the heart on the body, which is the center that holds everything up. Because if there was no center, north couldn't be north, south couldn't be south, nothing can stick but the center. And that's what I was getting at with the number 5, going like from 1 to 10. 5 is the center. So 5 would be the most powerful number to me there. But not the most powerful, but 5 is the hidden power between the numbers. And that's what I was getting down to here too. So I'm like, okay, so 10 is sacred. And I don't know why I wrote this down. Like I said, I was half asleep, but I wrote 10 is sacred. Many won't say his name, so they stop at 9. Then I was like, okay, so I was asking myself, like, why is 10 sacred? Then I'm thinking about it, 0 and 1, something coming from nothing, and then the union now. So that's transformation of the masculine and the feminine energies, if you want to look at it like that. So I'm like, I can see now, I understand why 10 is sacred, why some believe 10 is God, and people won't say 10, won't say his name. But anyways, but that's just me thinking. And then here I drew this, but to me, this represents like transmutation. And I was like, okay, turning water to wine. And I'm, like I said, my spirit be teaching me. I be in real time learning myself. But I'm like, okay, so if this is transformation and it's going through a cycle, like a purification cycle. So I'm like, okay, so that must mean from Jesus turning water to wine, water represents the emotions. Wine will represent like a pleasure or a leisure. So I'm like, so what if he's just teaching how to regulate your emotions, going from happy to sad, or, things like that. So I'm like, okay, so that's what I got with that. And then what we got up here? Oh, host. Okay, so I was asking myself, like, am I a host, right? And my body is just like a ship to transport the spirit through the high seas, because like maybe the spirit or whatever. But I'm like, but the high seas to me here is the chakras. You go up and then they keep going. So, but I don't know, a lot be going through my head, and then still thinking about like the foreheads. And I'm like, what letters? I'm like, because these, like the M and then the W, they're just like a reflection of each other, right? Then when I got like to L backwards or upside down would be a 7. X, no change. H, no change. Capital I, no change. And O, no change. Then, of course, I started thinking about, like, the X's and the O's. I don't know. This was me putting 2 Z's together. Z and then writing it backwards. Because I'm like, because it was something I drew. I think I got that symbol. Oh, this. I don't even know where that even came from. Let's see. And then I was drawing this out just to show that the end is a new beginning. Like that transformation, like transforming from one end, and then you start again. Oh, and it was something I was drawing. The mind is an invisible cage. But that's just where I'm at. Oh, goodness. And then this was the dream I had this morning. Oh, my goodness. I was laughing so hard because sometimes my dreams be so vivid that they carry back here to 3D. So when I woke up, I was saying, ah, and swinging like, because Because in my dream, this is the dream I had. I was at some type of store or whatever trying to make a purchase, but I only had a certain amount of money on me. So I was like, oh, I got to go out to my car and get it. But once I stepped outside, I was like, why did I say car? It's like, I don't have a car. And I was like, I walked here. And I was just like, And then that was me in that dream still. But in the dream, I did have a car. But I was like in another region. Once I came back outside, I went to like another dimension or another level of awareness where I said, no, I don't. I walked here to the store. So I was like, how do I supposed to go get some change or whatever? But I told the guy, and in my dream, it was like a silver car that I had. And I saw it in the parking lot. I was going to go out to it. But when I went outside, there was these two dogs just strutting down the street. And, I was finna walk that way, but some said, like it was like a caution, like, be careful if you go that way, da da da. But I'm like, the dogs, like, they don't seem aggressive. They just got their tails wagging. It was two black and brown Doberman dogs. And they were just walking up to me. And then when they got closer, I started to kind of like just walk the other way. I was like, maybe I should just go back inside the store and wait for them to pass. But and it was still like a great distance between us or whatever. So once I went to go turn around to go walk in the other direction, that's when the dogs, they started running faster and they caught up to me now. And then the one dog started barking like, woo, 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 just all in my face. I was like, oh, hi, hi, are you? Are you lost? Da, 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 da. And then the one dog, it was two of them. One dog stayed like right here. I was right here. So the other dog came right here. So that's how much of a space it was between us. And so the dog that ran up to me, I like held my hand out to it like this, like my left hand, and I was about to pet it and it bit me. And then I was like in shock for a second because it was wagging its tail. Like, you know how dogs are like happy to see you, like da 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 da. And it had that, and it was like its legs was like all janky, like it was bow-legged, and it was just standing there wagging its tail. So I thought it was like friendly. So when I went to go pet it, it bit me. But it wasn't like just a bite, it was just biting down into my left hand. And then I was like, ow, 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 ow. I was like, all right, let me go. So I took my other hand and I was trying to open the dog's mouth to get my hand out, but it bit down harder. But it wasn't like aggressively attacking me, it was just biting me. And then that's when I was like, okay, now this hurts now. And I just started swinging on the dog like, let me go, get off of me. And that's how I woke up, and I fell out laughing. But when I woke up, I told the dog, I was thanking the dog. And I was like, why did I say thank you? Because I held my chest and I said, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's all I kept saying. And I'm like, and then that's why I wrote it down. And then when I got to the end of like writing all of that down, it broke down to me so easily, like, either a close friend or a family member. They're finna come and try to love bomb me, be nice to me, but it's a secret betrayal that I am about to be betrayed by a friend or a family member, somebody that's close to me that I hold dear. So I'm like, okay, so that's why I was thanking the dog, because originally I always thought like, if you got bit by a dog in your dreams, that just meant like underlying fear or an anxiety, something that you're scared to do, or, insecurities and things like that. But I'm like, this dog was nice and it wasn't attacking me, and the other dog just stayed and watched. So I'm like, this was a warning. This was warning me from something. And I'm like, okay. And that's what I got from my dream today. And if you stayed and watched the rest of this video, at the end of this video, I appreciate you. And of course, I'm going to go back and work with these letters, because I do believe that this means something to why they reflect, but only the capital letters for the H and I reflect, but the two that don't change, whether capital or lowercase, if you write it this way or try to write it backwards, it'll still say the same thing as the X's and the O's, or the ox, or X over love. But that's where I'm going to get at now, working with this. And of course, that's what I was saying here. We really have two heads. So when we look in the mirror, you only see one side of yourself, but you have a spiritual side of yourself too. So we really have two heads. We just can't see one. And I kind of explained this when I was telling about the rainbow, why we only see a half of an arch. Doesn't mean the other side isn't there, because I seen the rainbow with my full eyes in the spiritual, and I promise you, on everything I love, the rainbow is a complete circle, just like this. And we only see a half of an arch because we're only seeing half of the energy, but it's still there. And those with eyes can see that the rainbow is a complete circle. That's all I just wanted to kind of show. So I'm like, just playing around with what you got. And then it's like a math problem too, for real. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other, because this world operates in duality and balance. And you think about any of the angels. That's why they never mention no angel by itself. All right. You got Gabriel and Michael. And, but they are pair. And, it's duality. You got your feminine and your masculine. Gabriel was the feminine, the same one that spoke to Jesus in the dream. And Michael. I was like, who's the other one? So Gabriel, she was feminine. And Michael was masculine. The masculine energy is one, like everything in there is just talks into symbolism. It's one thing to explain another, because if you came out and you told somebody, the way to unlock, if you're in Christianity, the way to get to heaven is through the child, your childlike energy. Ain't nobody gonna believe you. But what helped me to understand this, understanding, because I explained this before, when my grandma passed and she visited me, and I'm still trying to understand the energy behind that, because she was still alive, but she was on life support. She came out of her body and spirit and came to comfort me while I was crying before she even died, right? Before she even passed, she came to me at 3:00 in the morning. And when she opened up her hands, just like that, they was cupped just like this. And she opened them, like all these symbols and everything just started coming out of her hands. And then the next thing I kept hearing was children laughing. And it was just like, you can just hear the footsteps. And at that time, I lived with my friend and she had kids. And I thought like her kids was up in the middle of the night. And I'm like, cool, I'm just going to go play with them, because I slept all day, because I cried. Like I screamed and cried when I found out my grandma was going to have the plug pulled the next morning. And I fell asleep like that whole day. That was like I stress slept or however. But I had a lot of downloads happening in my sleep. And then when I woke up, it continued. But when my grandma opened her hands, I heard children laughing. And then sometimes I find myself even here in the physical between worlds. Like I can be in the kitchen, right? Physically standing in the kitchen. But then at that same time, I'll be in a cabin somewhere else and I'll see other people and they just be living their life. But physically, I'm in the kitchen. I'm like, what the hell? But I understand now with the veil, right? Some people can see beyond it. Some people cannot. Yeah, or some people do and just reject it. But children are heaven. Children is the it's a lot, but the child is sacred. That the child is the source of everything. The childlike energy. The child becomes the grandparent becomes the child source. But I explained those in previous videos, but that is what came to me. And it's all just remembering stuff that my grandma taught me, right? When she opened her hands and I heard those kids and I'm like, and then even after she passed, I kid you not, there was a parade in the sky for like one whole week after she passed. And I seen like Most High Mother come down and get her. And when she came and got my grandma, Most High Mother came down and as a cub. As a bear. She was a big, huge bear that took up most of the sky. And my grandma was a little bitty cub. And just imagine my grandma, she lived her full life and now she's back a baby. And it kind of reminds me of that Ply song. We've like going to the street, but tell my mom I'm still a baby. It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. It's like no matter how old we get, we will always still be a child. And oh my goodness. And that's why I always say, no matter how old you are physically, that's why I stopped celebrating my birthday. My birthday's coming up on May 1st. I don't really celebrate it because I'm like, it's not about my age, because as long as you're still young in heart, you will never get old. Young in heart. And think about Peter Pan or the imagination, or think about a child in their imagination when you be seeing kids playing and they be having a time of their life. That's really like, I could get into so much more, but didn't mean to make this as long of a video. But thanks for watching. If you did, Ashe. And if you do want to follow me on my YouTube channel, if you don't already, my name is Eminis _Wuta. WOOTAH0501. TikTok is A Touch of Natural. And whoever's been stealing my videos, thanks for sharing my information too. I love ya. Have a great day.